0201-277-1993, 0201-277-2993, and 0201-277-3993. You can join the conversation on WhatsApp on 0809, I beg your pardon, 959-75805. All right, well, I want to hear from you, Lagos. I heard a lot of people complain today that they're hungry. Many people are saying we can't even afford a meal per day, and that one meal, if you can afford it, you have to split it at least 2 ways. And I'm thinking, and I put my thoughts on social media. I'm not going to be able to say it here on the radio, but I don't know where we're headed, but I want to hear your thoughts. And like Joyce said, maybe this is an opportunity to take it off your chest, you know. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, this is Remy.
Hi, Remy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I beg to differ with some of the things your guest said. Supposing he was presenting the data to back it up, I would have, kept quiet. He said he was talking about some countries' crisis against Nigeria. They don't have the Nigeria on the map. If I'm to rephrase what he said, rather.
No, they were saying if you were to take two countries out of the continent, which countries would it be?
They were saying Nigeria. Are there data to back it up that Nigerians are the highest people in their prisons? The answer is, I don't think there's the data to back that up. And we shouldn't fall for that prejudice against Nigerians. The same Nigerians that are not law-abiding here, when they get to other countries, are law-abiding in their numbers. So don't let us fall for their rhetorics. That aside, what I owe this country as a citizen, and you and I, is to be law-abiding. We are not the one that make laws. We are not the one that implement laws. All we owe this country is to be law-abiding. Consequences, implementing laws falls on the leadership. And if they fail to do that, it is on the leadership. Saying we are fond of pushing blames. Who should I blame? You? Isn't the leadership who were voted in to run the affairs of this country? The leadership. And it is continuum. If they fail, who should I hold? And it's not only peculiar to Nigeria. Who are they blaming in America? Who are they blaming in UK? Before Rishi Sunak, the female that was there, she was blamed and she left the office. So it's not only peculiar to Nigeria. Don't make it seem as if it is a Nigerian thing.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
All right. Thank you. I did say you were going to have a lot of pushback on this one. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Maryann,
Go ahead.
I greet you and greet again. I have a question for him. Sir, well done. How can we meet our representatives whereby security are guiding them, not allow us? Number 2, sir. Why did the INEC off this at 6 p.m. 26th of February last year presidential election? Nigerian citizens obey the law. It's Nigerian government that does not obey the law. Answer me the question. Why did they off this? Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Would you like to attempt?
Yeah, no, well, I didn't get the questions clearly, so you may want to repeat it, but I would like to respond.
Well, he basically saying that, look, INEC did not necessarily follow the law. He's saying the government never really follows the law, that the average Nigerian always obeys the law. Maybe a few people obviously would not do that, but he's saying, why can't they obey laws?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who's listened to what I had to say from the beginning, I have already put and cast aspersion and blame on the leadership. But then I then went further to say we also have a role to play. I will never fall into that category of people that always 100% blame someone else for anything. It's never worked anywhere. So self-reflection means, what can I do, or what have I done? What could I do better, to make my environment better? So that's my point. And that's why I said the perception of other people. That doesn't mean I agree with them. It's a perception. As long as a perception exists, it's going to affect how we get visas. It's going to affect where we do business. It's going to affect where we can travel, because we have to fix that perception. You understand? So now when you come to INEC, I don't really want to get into the electoral part of this conversation. Nonetheless, I already said something about the public service not being efficient. And INEC is part of the public service. It is not an efficient entity. So many of them are inefficient. Their inefficiency is the reason that they're not delivering the goods of democracy. And so the fact is, reforms are required. And then I said, but the resistance to reform exists even within the public service. So there should be reform in INEC, there should be reform in various states and federal civil service. It's not only fighting for minimum wage, about fighting for efficiency, for performance, for ability to implement these laws, like the gentleman said. So we have to face one very important fact. And that is that if you're actually on the streets, a lot of people are driving the wrong way. How can we justify that and say, no, it's not a problem? They're actually doing it, even though the law say don't. Even though police is there, army is there. We still find that the majority of people find it difficult to just, especially in cosmopolitan areas like Lagos, to do what is right. Now, that doesn't mean the majority, but that part that's not doing it, they can create problems for the majority. One person went to the Third Mainland Bridge and started removing all those lights. Now, that is going to affect everybody's visual capacity to drive at night. These are examples we're talking about. Okay. So we don't shy away from those truths. We have to balance, our understanding and our attitude to how we're going to make Nigeria great. It's just when I do what is right and I can point to government and say, you are not doing well, you have messed up. And therefore, I want a change in authority. And like I said before, partisan system makes it difficult for people to be able to pick and choose who is effective, who is not effective. We need to be able to have the ability to remove individuals or recall individuals who are not doing well for us, regardless of whether or not they represent us or represent the party we support.
Okay, let's take a few more calls. Hello. Welcome.
Maryann, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please, can you ask your girls that are them listening to we common people, please? Because as they are, what you say is sweet for their mouth, but they are doing the one that is their mind to do. I don't hear Nigeria crying. I don't know that something is too sweet outside there, please.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that is my question.
Thank you very much.
This is not balanced for anyone like this. You don't hear our cry, please. Help me ask your girls, please.
All right. Thank you, Mercy, for calling. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Okay. My name is Chief Chris.
All right.
I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Go ahead, Chief Chris.
Okay. I want to disagree with your guest on the problem of Nigeria.
Okay.
He's not getting it right. The problem of Nigeria lies in the government and the government alone. All these things not working lie with the government. How can you tell me that it's the citizens? You have government has organs.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mr. Chris. I don't think that he said that the problem is us, the citizens. I asked if we share in the blame.
We don't share in the blame.
Oh,
so
okay.
We don't share in the blame. You have the police, you have the army, you have the law officers. Like in Lagos, we have traffic officers last month. If you drive against traffic, they will arrest you. That's why they are there. And we are paying taxes for that. So there is no society where there are no crimes. And that is why there is government. If there should be no crime, there should be no government. People should live and go their way. So the problem of Nigeria is leadership. A lot of reforms has to, like the INEC. Look at what happened in South Africa. Within 24 hours or 72 hours, everything is done. Issue of election is done. Nobody went to court or nobody is in court. Because everything is transparent. But here we spend billions of naira putting people there. At the end of the day, the high class who has amassed a lot of money will not go against the people's wish. Even the House of, I'm not talking of the presidency alone, from House of Assembly to Senate to even local government.
All right. In conclusion,
In conclusion is that we have to start now. The president has he has time. Electoral reforms. Reform it to be so transparent.
Okay.
So that good people will have the way to go to the offices.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chris, for calling. I do appreciate it. Do you want to answer? Because you asked you the same question, Mr. Ashiru. I asked you, I talked about the fact that our politicians are very good at telling us these stories. I mean, detail for the president. He's made so many lofty promises, but the actionable plans to back it is where we're stuck at. And that's what Mercy is asking, that do they really hear the cries of the average Nigerian, the person who's, especially for those who've been calling all through today to say, I've not been able to eat. One man called. Go ahead.
Yeah. So number one, I am not in government. I am in the opposition to government. So I'm not here to defend government, and I think people need to understand that. But we're discussing democracy in Nigeria. We need to look at it holistically. I'm not here to campaign for my party. I'm here to talk about Nigeria. And the fact of the matter is that Someone should not break the law in the hope that the police will be effective to stop it. We shouldn't have area boys in the hope that the army will arrest them. Our education system has failed us. The social welfare system we even have in this country. I already mentioned that these are all structural problems. But what we're saying is, what is everybody's role in making this happen? And everybody must have a role. If you do not get your voter's card, if apathy, for example, in Lagos State, where the House of Rep by-election had just 6% of the people voting, how can you complain in your room? Because the only way you can hold people to account is by your voter's card. When you go out and vote, then you can fight to say your vote did not count.
Yeah, but Mr. Ashiru, the average Nigerian will tell you that yes, we came out to vote. We came out in our numbers. We were bitten. We were battered. Some of us they didn't even allow us to vote because we didn't look like a certain group of people from a certain part of the country. And so our votes didn't necessarily count. So really, does our vote have that power? Because I get that all the time.
No. I'd like people to be honest. People vote. I'm not saying people don't vote. I'm saying there are still a larger number of people that don't vote. That's just statistics. People just don't vote. There are a larger number of people. Now, if India had over, I think about 600 million people who are qualified to vote in their last election. They had 75% turnout. Turnout is important. So you can have 10% turnout. Out of that 10%, it's easy to manipulate that number. It's easy for whoever wants to manipulate it to just say, let's cut off 5%, and then we decide the answers. As somebody who is running a political party, whose candidates, have been affected by this fact, who has been affected by the impunity, in the ruling parties, I can say for a fact that if more of our own supporters had come out, we would have been in a better position. So the issue really is that we have become so apathetical, and thinking that it wouldn't work anyway. So why bother? But I am saying to us today that in order for us to save this democracy, it's better for us to step out and make things happen now. I am one of the generation of people that fought against Babangida's government. We are the ones who rioted on the streets for Babangida's government to be removed. We are the ones that were affected by June 12. I was one of those that was out there when June 12 was happening. I was almost arrested. I had people come into my office to say that I was preparing people to go against, I was training a deco element. So I am speaking for people who have been on the streets. My sister, I'm speaking of those who have been on the streets, who have actually made a difference to bring this democracy in as a young man. So the key thing is that how many, that's why I was so happy when the young men came out over the NSAS issue, because the NSAS riots was not too far from where I live. And my children were saying, yes, we have to fight. And I looked at my children and I thought, finally, we have a generation that can actually go out there and make it happen, not sit behind their keyboards and expect change to happen. So that's my point. My point is that we have a role to play. If we are complaining, politicians will not hear. What they will listen to is action. So like the mother said, are they listening? Unfortunately, I am not in government, so I don't know if they're listening. But my hope is that all of us speaking right now, the appropriate, intelligent ones amongst them are listening and are saying, oh boy, we need to do something because the people are not happy. Neither am I happy, but we all have a role to play. We can never just say government to do everything and we sit down. That's called Pareto, where 80% of the people sit down and expect 20% of people to. It never works. It has never worked anywhere. One of the reasons why the British government is now trying to make reforms on immigration is because the people are screaming and shouting, and it's forcing them to make changes in immigration rules. The same thing happened with Brexit. Same thing is happening in the United States of America. When the people get up and they go out there and they make these things known, then the government will listen and they make changes. But what they want to see is the evidence that it is a consistent demand for better government.
All right.
Consistent demand for better government. And objective expectations from government.
Okay, let me read some messages because I have so many messages coming in on WhatsApp, so I'll just go straight to WhatsApp to read some of the messages that are coming in. This one says, tell Mr. Chairman that their party brings more bad than good to Nigerians. Safiano from Kanu. Safiano, I don't think that you know what party he belongs to, but anyway. This one says ADC, not APC. This one says Maryann, help me ask your guest if his political party did not join with APC in Lagos during the gubernatorial elections. Many parties formed an alliance with the APC in the state, which is not good for our democracy. Adams from Ikorodu. Now, I'm going to let you answer that question. Let me just quickly read another one here. This one says, in my opinion, though, if this is the kind of democracy our leaders fought for, that hunger, starvation, insecurity, suffering has tripled, then I prefer military rulership or communist rule. This is a state that has been captured, and this is Ezekiel from Ejigbo. This one says, good afternoon, Maryann. I'm 60% in support of your guest's point of view. I have this vehement that government has played their own part. It is time for an average business Nigerian to stop being weak and self-centered and support society. The Landlord Association, NURTW, Traders Association need to let down their guard. Ahmed from Ikorodu. Interesting. This one says, the person who went to remove the lights at the newly maintained Third Mainland Bridge, a bad one, but it's a clear lesson from the top situation. Since 2015 till date, bad news everywhere in Nigeria from the government. May the good Lord deliver Nigeria. And this one says, Nigerians should mourn our fallen heroes on a Democracy Day and Nigeria itself, like Nineveh, and never again celebrate until we begin to practice the following: popular sovereignty, rule of law, political pluralism, I beg your pardon, free and fair elections, individual rights, civil society, accountability, and transparency, like countries who are beneficiaries of a democracy's dividends. Chisco from Ijego. Let me come back to you. I do know very well, but I don't want to speak for you because you speak for your party, but I do know that your governorship candidate did not let up at any point. But then over to you.
Yes, my governorship candidate was Funsho Doherty of the African Democratic Congress. We never had an alliance with any other party in Lagos State. And even after the election, my candidate is the only opposition candidate that is still holding government to account. It's the only one still writing, publishing, and asking the governor of Lagos State to account for so many different things, including writing to the National Assembly. So we are a vibrant, positive opposition move in this country. But the challenge everybody is that the people will not support the small parties, and then they expect us to be effective in holding government to account. So it is until you support us, who have a different ideology from those who are already in power, that we can then go and say, look, you have an alternative, a credible alternative, and that's what we represent. I think for a fact that I agree with almost everything everybody is saying, and we're very passionate about this country. We are feeling the impact of this thing. But what we're saying now is this: we have a generational issue of inefficiency of leadership. So my concern is that even when you change people around, you call them different names, AC, AD, AP, PDP, you still end up coming with people who are not efficient. So we have an ideological issue in the country of not being able to get the right people in that place, in all those places, to make things work. But the question I ask is, how is it that they're efficient when they work for corporate entities? If the company says go and make profit, they know how to make profit. Go and open branches, they know how to open branches. Go and set up a new marketing operation. They're very effective. But the moment they get to the public service, all of a sudden that skill set seems to go away. That tells me that there is a structural problem in the civil service itself that makes it difficult even for a reformer.
That's a conversation for another day. This is a conversation for another day, because I've worked in the civil service, and I must tell you, it's a cankerworm, and it needs to be taken out. Unfortunately, many people disagree, but that's the truth. How does the commissioner, how does the minister know that this is how monies are siphoned? It's the people in the civil service. But we're not ready to have that conversation. We're not ready to have that conversation. But I want to say thank you for coming on the show. Unfortunately, time is not on our side, but I'll keep taking messages. Thank you so much. George Ashiru is the ADC, not APCO, ADC chairman for Lagos State. Okay, it's the Action Democratic Congress, right? Africa Democratic Congress. I beg your pardon. Africa Democratic Congress is not APCO. He's the chairman for Lagos State, and thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, we'll have that civil service conversation one day when we're ready. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
I'm very ready.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, Lagos, I'm going to keep taking a few of your thoughts and comments, but we have to go on a break. When we come back from that break, if I have a little more time, I can take more, read some more of your messages. It's still Democracy Day special. George Ashiru has been our guest, talking about strengthening our 25 years of uninterrupted democracy. The program is still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. All right, let me just read a few messages before I run. Someone here says, good afternoon, Maryann. All over the world, it is leadership alone that maps out trajectory for a country, not followership. The Singaporeans were more disorganized than Nigerians. It took only one person, Lee Kuan Yew, to take the country from a third to the first world. Human beings all over the world are lawbreakers, and it's strict enforcement of the laws by leadership that deter citizens from doing what is wrong. Andose from Festac Town. Thank you, Andose. This one says, thank you, Maryann. You're doing good with the questions. This is talk by our votes have and will never count. This will always, they will always select who they want, not whom we elect. Thanks. I beg to differ with you on that particular position. And that's what they want you to believe, that your votes will never count. And so you stay at home and they keep manipulating it. So the least people come out, the easier it is to manipulate the election. But if all of us come out, then they can't manipulate it. But we'll be back after this break.
This is Hard Facts.
Credible journalism, bridging the gap between people and those in authority.
Are you ready to elevate your stay in Lagos to the next level?
Introducing VCP Hotel VI in the vibrant hearts of the city.
Experience hospitality, dining, and views of Victoria Crown Plaza Hotel, located at 292B at Jose Adeogun Street, Victoria Island, Lagos.
Book your stay today and indulge this experience.
Victoria Crown Plaza Hotel, a destination. Elevate your stay in Lagos to the next level. Experience VCP Hotel VI.
For booking and reservation, visit our website www.vcphotels.com or call 0903-818-9144. Follow us on Instagram and all social media platforms at VCP Hotels.
Victoria Crown Plaza Hotel. Elevate your stay in Lagos to the next level. Located at 292B at Jose Adeogun Street, Victoria Island, Lagos.
Are you finding it difficult listening to your favorite talk radio Nigeria Info via the mobile app? Come closer. Let me fix that for you. Now, launch the app on your device. Click the 3 lines on the top left corner of the app. Look for settings in the drop-down menu and click on it. Turn on the first option that you see. Make sure you turn on the option that says always use highest quality available audio. Now that you have done that, close the app and relaunch it. Voila! I did it! Oh, sorry, you did it. Now you can enjoy your radio anywhere, anytime. Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, you know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
And we are back. Yes, it's still Democracy Day special on Hard Facts. My name is Maryann Okon, and I'm still reading some of your messages. Tony from Ikoto here says, good afternoon, Maryann. Your guest is talking about people coming out to vote for their leaders. What happened when people came out last year? I can answer that very easily for you. Like I said before we went on the break, the average terrible, dirty politician is counting on the fact that if they terrorize you a little, you'd go back into your shell like a snail, and then they'll take the advantage and do whatever they want to do. This has been the modus operandi for years. The fact that we keep falling for it is to their benefit. But like I said, they want you to believe that they have the power to intimidate you and keep you down. And that's not what a democracy is supposed to be. But if we stay the course, they'd get to realize that, look, we're running this show, not you. And I always use the South African experience, South African example, to tell people that, look. If the South Africans gave up when they were shot at, when they were bitten, when they were put in prison, there wouldn't have been a Nelson Mandela becoming president. There would not have been a united South Africa. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. So let's not give up hope, all right? I'll read a few more messages and then we'll move on to other matters. This one says, there's nothing democratic about Nigeria, nothing to celebrate today. Nigeria has everything to be comfortable and happy, but political emperors have bastardized the commonwealth of the nation. They're plunging Nigerians into hardship and perpetual poverty. Henry from Ogun State. Well, talking about good leadership and examples for the glass ceiling today on the 4 o'clock hour, we'll be talking with Enough is Enough as we look at the life and times of Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, a woman that has had her name ingrained in the sands of time. And we're going to talk about it and why every citizen of this country should toe that line. We'll be right back after these messages. It's still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info.
There's a reason why over 1 million people tune into Hard Facts every day. We discuss in-depth stories with sources behind the facts.
The Lagos State High Court sitting
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.